Welcome to another Universities UK Innovation and Growth webcast. My name is Greg Wade. I lead at Universities UK on Innovation and Growth. And I'm joined by Keith. Keith, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Keith Burnley. I'm CEO of the National Centre for Entrepreneurship in Education, NCEE.
Excellent. Welcome, Keith. Last time we talked about the Lord Young report in our last webcast, and this webcast is going to be more about the concept of the Entrepreneurial University, and certainly Lord Young's report looked at enterprise education, but you're also very interested in the concept of the Entrepreneurial University. Can you explain a little bit about how those two differ?
Yes, enterprise education is part of the Entrepreneurial University concept, but the Entrepreneurial University concept is much wider. It's about how universities engage in an entrepreneurial manner with stakeholders, with businesses, with government communities, and also the impact of universities on the locality and the surrounding region. We might term the impact of universities on places, and indeed the impact of places of universities as very clearly linked to the Entrepreneurial University concept.
Okay. I think your mention of places is really interesting. So how does this link to the concept of the anchor institution that's most recently been talked about by HEFCE and their Catalyst Fund call?
Yeah, I think the anchor university concept is key to a lot of this thinking. I mean, universities, have mainly grown out of places. It's just that some universities that happened a long time ago.
Yes.
The universities like Leeds, Manchester, etc., emerged as a result of local business requirements back at the turn of the 19th to the 20th century. So there's most universities have their origins in place in some way or other.
Yeah. I guess the clue's in the name of the university.
Indeed, it is. I mean, there are some occasions where universities have moved. Lincoln is an interesting example. Lincoln was originally Humberside, and there was a decision to move to Lincoln to meet the needs of the population, business and communities in Lincoln.
Yeah, and I worked at Surrey, which was originally in Battersea.
Yeah. So there's Edge Hill, for example. Moved from Liverpool outwards. So yeah.
Okay, so what do you do to support the concept of the Entrepreneurial University?
I guess the most obvious and visible thing that we do is that we support the Times Higher Entrepreneurial University of the Year award.
Right.
We sponsor that award.
How long have you been sponsoring it?
I think this is the 6th or 7th time.
So for quite some time.
Yes, quite some time. Yeah. The award looks at the cultural mindsets, the entrepreneurial impact, policy and practice, and we do an assessment of the institutions in that sense. This year's shortlist is quite interesting. UCL, Chester, Teesside, Anglia Ruskin, University of Central Lancashire, and Kingston. I hope I didn't give away the secret of who's going to win in that list. But
I was trying to judge how you emphasised
Yeah,
each
I thought
name,
you might be. Yeah,
but there wasn't a clue there.
No, I was trying hard. But we'll know on Thursday.
Okay.
So the award ceremony is on Thursday. Past winners have been quite a diverse set of institutions. Strathclyde last year, Huddersfield, Coventry, Hertfordshire, Queen's University Belfast, and the first Nottingham.
Yeah.
So so it's an award that attracts significant interest from across the sector.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got the award. What do you actually do to support the Entrepreneurial University concept?
Yeah, quite a lot.
Okay.
But your research, events, consultancy. But I think again, perhaps the most visible element is our flagship programme, the Entrepreneurial University Leaders Programme, which we deliver jointly with Universities UK.
Yes, indeed you do.
Also supported by Side Business School, and the winner of the Entrepreneurial University of the Year Award. So it's a 3-module programme, the first module at Oxford at Side. The second module is at the winner of the Entrepreneurial University of the Year Award.
Yeah.
So Strathclyde will be hosting our second module, this January, in this March, and then University UK hosts the final module in July.
Yeah. Okay. And how often does the programme run?
The programme runs every year, and it tries to address the sort of questions about how will participants create and realise greater opportunities for their institution in uncertain domestic, global and economic circumstances. How do you encourage entrepreneurial capability and develop the capacity of universities to respond to the challenges that lie ahead? So it's very much about response to changing context and being entrepreneurial in relation to that challenge.
Yeah. Okay. What's the time commitment? That's a very practical question.
Yeah, as I say, it's 3 modules. Each module is 3 days long, and then there's a project involved that people present during the final module. So it's it's a sort of program that people can put as much time into as they wish, in a sense. And clearly afterwards there's an alumni network, so people continue to be engaged in the program. So we've got around 100 alumni of the EULP now, going back those 5-6 years.
Okay. Is it just UK?
It's mainly UK, but we do get interest from overseas. We've had people from Ireland, Finland, Denmark, and even further afield. Yeah. And currently there's a colleague from Canada going to join the programme in January.
Okay. I mean, that's a very helpful description of the programme. The last question I had was that I know the European Commission and OECD have developed a tool that they call HE Innovate. Yeah. How does that relate to the programme? It's not a duplication, is it?
No, I mean it's complementary. HE Innovate is basically a benchmarking tool. So you sort of you know the sort of institution you are, and you look at comparing yourselves with other institutions. The Entrepreneurial University concepts is I think slightly wider than that, because it doesn't try to get people to, in a sense, benchmark against anybody else or anything else, but to understand the institution and how that particular institution could benefit from a more entrepreneurial view. I mean, we as part of the process, I mean, there are 108 questions that people look at to see where their university sort of is placed on issues around engagement, that's all the way from community through to international engagement, all the way from enterprise education to how entrepreneurial the research results dissemination might be. And I guess that, it's, I think an issue for me is that I strongly feel that no one university is actually like any other university. So benchmarking can help, but I think you need something a little more than that. And particularly when you look at this link with place. The interaction with universities and place is very much dominated by the nature of the place, and it's very unusual to find two places that are like each other. But I think the important point here is that in all this thinking, it's my view the UK actually leads the world. There are things happening here in universities that others come to learn about. Yeah. The States is well advanced as well, but it's a slightly different view of the Entrepreneurial University. I think the UK version tends to be more place and community rooted, as well as business, government, etc. And maybe in the States that aspect is slightly less.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Keith. That was a very interesting introduction to the concept of the Entrepreneurial University and how NCEE is supporting it. As usual with our webcasts, we will include details of the EULP programme on the YouTube page and other relevant links. And if you do have any questions for either myself or Keith, please do get in touch.
And we have places left for January if people are interested.
So there you are. Make sure you have a look at it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.